no reason to get excited. The thief, he kindly spoke. There are many here among us who feel that life is but a joke. This is Soul Food 2. I felt compelled to respond to a couple of the listeners who said to us in their comments that they agree with all of the things that we point out as the problems, but they would like to know how to get back in control of our lives, our privacy, our children, our schools. My understanding to that is this. First, we must realize the problems. And we have problems in all aspects of our American lives, especially for Black people, and even more so for young Black Americans. Young Black Americans seem to have no hope. We're coming up to the time this week particularly where school is starting back. School is a very, very, very volatile issue. It is very prevalent that our children and our young people need education, but the question is, are they getting it? And what type of education are they getting? To say that we only have problems in the schools, or to talk about the children and the violence in the schools, it tends to lean toward the idealism that schools are the only place where we have a problem. I stand before you today to say that nothing could be farther from the truth. We have problems in so many other aspects of our American lives as Black people. We have problems with health care. We have problems with the schools. We have problems in housing. We have problems in the environment. We have problems with parenting. We have problems with the Food and Drug Administration. We have problems with policing. There are problems everywhere you go that these departments, meaning the ones that I just called out, are full of scams. They are full of they're full of things that are not conducive with helping the people that are paying for these programs to help them. What we need to do to get back is to go back. You can't get back unless you have an understanding that may seem new, but it is an understanding of the old. To whereas, number one, we need to take full and unuttered control of our children. The politicians, the city halls, and the government say that the problem with our children and the violence in schools is because there are not enough after-school programs. There are not enough things to do in school. So therefore, the government is throwing money at this problem. This is a money problem, but you can't throw money at it. The problem is parenting. We need to get back to parenting. A while back, in the 80s, babies started having babies. When that event occurred in our community, it made the politicians happy because they found many ways to generate money out of young people having babies, because young people do not have an understanding as to how to raise children. They do not have parenting skills. They do not have communication skills. We live in a time now where the young people, their idols, they look up to, their heroes are sports stars and rappers. That is astonishing. When you have parents, not all, but you have a lot of parents doing the best that they can to raise their children. But they're bombarded with the things that the children are facing the second they walk out of your door. We need to get back by going back to the old ways, going back to the old ways of parenting. Let the parents be the parents. Get the government out of your lives. Parents began to be afraid of being parents when the government began to tell you how to raise your children. You can't whoop them. You can't show discipline in public. You can't do this. You can't do that. They tell you what to feed your children. They tell you what to teach your children. And that's part of the problem. The government does not know how you want to raise your children. And they don't have the proper methods that it would take to raise respectful and upright children, to where they can be respectful and upright adults in their adult lives. We need to get back as adults. We need to walk upright as modeled figures, to whereas when the young people see us, they see something that they inspire to be. Nowadays, we live in a time, especially, once again, we're headed back to school this week with our children. And the government and our people are encouraging us, and I also encourage, get your children to school on the first day. They make a big emphasis on the first day, and I understand that, but only to a degree. School in general is what's needed. But I say to the young people as well as the parents, the education that you are getting in school needs to have something added to it. And that thing that needs to be added to it can only come from home. It can't come from streets. It can't come from the mind of the young people. It has to have a home base. Home has to be established to where homework, schoolwork, studying, reading, and things of that sort needs to have priority over PlayStation, over Jay-Z's new video, over Beyonce's new video, over who T.I. is marrying. It needs to have precedent over these things. And we as parents need to understand that our children are up under our command. Instead, what I find is that we have turned the rearing of our children over to the hands of the schools, over to the hands of our politicians, over to the hands of the polices. And this is the reason why our children have lost, if ever had any, morals. Our morals for respect of one another, our morals for respect for the elders in our community, our morals for even just to respect the community as a whole. These things seem to be lost. And the only way we're able to get back to them is to have an understanding as to how it got lost in the beginning. And it got lost in the beginning by turning our children, the welfare, the well-being, the mental status, the mental health of our children, turning it over to everyone else other than the parents. It's very hard for a teacher to raise children. It's hard enough. The job that they have is hard enough just to teach. The children are so interested in so many other things other than learning. They're interested in fast money. They're interested in fast knowledge. They're interested in fast gratitude. They're interested in fast happiness. Everything nowadays is microwavable, okay? They want to put something in, press a button, and get it out just as fast. Whereas what needs to be understood is that nothing in this world, nothing in this life has ever been accomplished without someone doing some hard work. And hard work is what our children seem to be afraid of. We need to get back to teaching them the values of hard work, which would also teach them the value of $1, which would also teach them the value of life itself, which has been given to us. Most of the things that the children think that they earn, they're not earning. They're been given to them. So respect the idealism of parenting. When school starts back, be involved. When school starts back, get involved. Don't take no for an answer. Don't ask your children. Learn to tell them. Remember, they are children and they should be remaining in the child's place. Help your children with their homework. Sit down with them. Soul Food says that we need to sit down and not only eat, but talk to your children about their day. Talk to your children about their friends. Talk to your children about their homework. Understand the type of things that your children are listening to. Understand the type of things that your children are reading. And then get an understanding as to the understanding that they have. So you can put your parenting skills in there to let them know this is not the way for you to go, but this is the way. We need to understand and we need to see that parenting is the answer. That is the answer. Not throwing money at the problem, not going into the school, making the school day longer, which is what they've done. None of that is the answer to the problem of our young people. It all boils down to parenting. Parenting, parenting, parenting. When you get into parenting, then you'll understand what soul food means. It's more than just a movie. It's more than just eating. It's more than just spending time gabbing about things. It's about coming together within the spirit and the strength of the Creator. Once you do that, every other problem you have will pale and will fall on its own. We thank you for listening. Continue to leave comments. Continue to call. Continue to listen to us and take these messages home. We thank you, and we'll be back at you next week with the same understanding that we need to get our children back in control. Peace to you.